Hey Eric,
What?
do you like stories?
No.
Oh, that's great because I'm going to tell you a story. It's about a kid. His name was Little Joseph. He was always left out during recess. Felt like he didn't fit in. He saw that everyone else had their BFFs and their pinky swears, and their who smelt it dealt it's, all that. And he hated how he never had something of his own to share with anyone uh, else during recess. But then, many years, a long time has passed, and one day he learned that his adopted son had something very important. He had superpowers, and he was amazed by this information. It was so important, he wanted to keep that information to himself. He wanted to keep it as a secret. And from that day on, he made it his goal to make all the important information he comes across a secret. And that, my friend, is why he is known as Detective Secret Man. I mean, Detective Joe West.
Wow. Wow.
Welcome to the Out of Continues podcast. Sorry, Out of Capes podcast. Welcome to the Out of Capes podcast for Flash Season 1, Episode 19, titled Who is Harrison Wells? And this is a weekly podcast focusing on CW's The Flash series. I am your co-host, Safa.
And I'm Eric.
And yeah, the way how this show is structured is first we will discuss last night's episode of The Flash. After that, we will rate and review it. And then we're going to close out the show for anyone who does not want to listen to any spoilers or theories on what's going to happen next. But after that closing, we're going to definitely go into the spoiler section for anyone who is adventurous and wants to listen to that part of the podcast. So are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right. So this was, I suppose, a somewhat crossover episode.
They're all turning into crossover episodes.
Like it wasn't as much of a crossover as like the last two.
No.
Because it only had Captain Lance and Laurel.
Yes, who actually were better characters in the show than they were in Arrow.
Laurel was basically just there to get her new weapon.
Canary Cry.
Yep. And for Cisco to just geek out.
And Cheese.
Yep. And get a photo. Who has photos these days?
I know.
Yeah, cell phones now. But he got a photo with him super cheesing. It looked like something from Comic-Con.
Yes. He puts it in a frame and puts it on his desk.
But yeah, so I mean the main villain was Hannibal Bates, aka Everyman.
Yes.
How accurate was that Everyman in the show as to the comics?
In the comics, he could transform into people. He would actually have to eat some part of them, like fingernails or something, and he would get their powers too. So they're like to a point where like his transformations were perfect enough that they trick Green Lantern rings.
Interesting.
Yes.
So they did take some liberties as to, I guess, nerfing him down.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if it's a nerf because he can transform more easily. It's just his transformations aren't as good.
Yes.
So yeah, but I mean, this episode was hardly about him. I feel like this episode was mainly to catch the characters up to what the viewers know.
Yes.
And we discussed this previously. You asked me what I thought about the characters not knowing things, but we did. And ultimately it ended up not paying off because of the fact that we had to like have this entire episode just to have the characters catch up to where we the viewers are at.
Yes.
Um,
By the way, guess what?
what's that?
In the comics, Everyman actually turns into Green Arrow and then forgets that he is Everyman. So then he starts calling himself Dark Arrow. So he looks just like Oliver and everything, just wears black clothing. Teams up with Cupid, and then Cupid kills him.
Um,
Yes, and declares the relationship a rebound thing.
wow.
Yes. So he's really a Green Arrow villain, which I find hilarious that they have a Green Arrow villain. They put it in Flash.
So, I mean, since we're talking about Everyman,
Yes.
basically, like he got Eddie framed,
Yes.
and it was just this whole plot highlighted how awkward the heroes of the show are as far as going along with the system. Like, I watched through all of Daredevil season 1, and Daredevil, even though he's a vigilante,
Yes.
his goal is to expose the villains, and then once they are exposed, let the system do its job.
Yeah.
In Flash, their goal is the complete opposite. They want to sweep everything under the rug, avoid the system, and try to handle things themselves without letting anyone know of anything.
Secrets.
Yeah. And like, so I mean, at the very end, when Barry brings who is that, the district attorney, I suppose?
Yes.
Yeah, he brings her the video of Everyman, but no Everyman.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the Flash dropped off this evidence, but he did not drop off Everyman.
Exactly. And they kind of like sweep it under the rug.
And like the DA does not even care.
No.
It's just mind blowing.
Yes. Especially since now using that Flash is taking the law into his own hands.
Yeah. Also, apparently Barry gets knocked out and stays knocked out for a really long time, even though he has a healing factor.
Exactly.
Like Hannibal got tased, and he recovered way quicker than Barry. Barry had to get slapped.
Yeah.
How
This whole episode, like the whole team, also, I don't know, like they all just seem like really like dumber than they should be, because like if you have someone who can shapeshift, they're like weren't suspicious of anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you have someone that can shapeshift, you just be suspicious about every person you encounter. Everyone on the team was like, "Oh, hello," and just act like they're this normal person. And just totally forgot they got every man can shapeshift.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
Everyman has been somebody else for the past year,
Yes.
and he is bad at playing cool.
Yep.
Like even though I mean, like they didn't suspect, even though of how bad he was acting. Like it was just, it seemed like it was like the first time he shape shifted into somebody else and pretended to be somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now, for a whole year you've been doing this and you're still that bad.
Yep.
Or I suppose people just don't suspect. That's why they're like, oh,
He's just acting weird.
yeah, Barry, why are you so weird? Why'd you make out with me? Why'd you slap my booty like that?
Oh my god.
And when they tase Everyman,
Yes.
why didn't they serum him up?
That's a very good question. And I have no idea.
It's like Caitlin. Why did she keep it a secret from Iris? She did not want to tell Iris that she has a serum to like disable every man. And like they're acting all weird, like, oh, don't worry, Iris, don't take him to the police. We'll take care of it.
Here's the other thing too. Iris just walks in like none other. You think there would have to be something like clearance to get all the way down there.
There's no clearance. There's only 3 employees.
And then second of all, that's like, what did you see the flash suit right in front of the desk? You understand what I'm saying?
Good one. I didn't even think of that.
And also, she just comes in and she has like basic hacking knowledge.
Man, she didn't hack. She just knows Joe's password.
Whatever.
I hacked on my dad's account, aka she knows his password.
Yep. And she just goes up the computer like this is her own little home office.
Yo, that's how everyone acts in real life. Like you just go on anyone's computer like you're allowed to at all times.
Yep.
Yeah, there's not much else I can think of to talk about as far as Everyman.
No.
Let's talk about the other plot, which is basically the characters catching up to where the viewers are at.
Yes.
Joe, aka Secret Man.
Secret Man.
Yep. Goes over to Starling City, which I thought was supposed to be rebranded as Star City.
I don't know what happened there. Like
did they not decide not to go through with that, or do they just want that one scene just so they can like put that in the previews for season 3 of Arrow? Or I don't even know.
I think I read somewhere where like they mentioned it offhand in one of the episodes where like it fell through or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I think there was one episode where they actually said Star City. I think that was like with Brick.
Yeah.
One of the Brick episodes, they said Star City, but I mean, like, I don't know. They swept it under the rug, just like all the metahumans. But you know, Joe meets with Captain Lance, and they pretty much compare their relationships with their daughters. You know, Lance saying secrets are bad, and Secret Man saying, "Oh no, 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 secrets are good. Give me more secrets."
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they they go out to the crash site, and Cisco conveniently has not a metal detector. It looks like a metal detector, but it's actually a plot detector. It detects important story plots and story points.
Tachyons, that's how they explain everything.
Yep. It's like, hey, I got this thing. It will just lead us towards the important story points, so that way we don't have to actually have good writing. We could
Thawne will just conveniently just bury the body right next to the crash site.
Yep. What was up with the Captain Lance's coffee floating?
Showing that every time there's a presence of tachyons, like fluids float. Kind of like, remember in when you get struck by lightning, all the chemicals start floating in the air. And
okay.
And then during the flash fight with his mom.
Why are they even looking for tachyons?
I don't know. Like I said, tachyons are used to explain anything that's unexplainable.
It's a plot point detector. Yep. And even though they, were in Starling City for like a day or so.
Yes.
Cisco was still able to make the new Canary cry, and he even has a case that says Star Labs on it. Like he just had that lying around. Yep.
He just
That's how it is.
He just carries cases around with him.
Yeah. Are you further away from the mic?
No.
Okay. You sounded far away for a second, but anyways. Um. So yeah, they basically found the body. They showed it to Caitlin. Um. Everyone's caught up, and then Cisco again with his plot point detection software is just happens to be scanning the entire Star Labs building and finds Harrison Wells's hidden, I don't know, chamber, I suppose you want to call it that.
Yes.
And he uses the plot point detector again to find the door. Because why else? I mean, why write something clever when you could just go straight to the plot point?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, they see Reverse Flash suit as well as the newspaper that Harrison Wells is in love with.
Yes.
Anything I'm missing that we
Nope.
want to talk about?
Not to my knowledge.
That was pretty short.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, that's basically it.
yeah, it was pretty much just the characters catching up to where the viewers are at, and it wasn't very informative nor exciting episode.
Like I said, I really feel like right now it's like Arrow and Flash are kind of like flipping now, where Flash is kind of like slowing down and they're waiting to get to the final episode, while Arrow is kind of like, oh shit, we've spent all these episodes doing nothing, and now we're doing a whole bunch in like a lot of last 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There's a lot more going on in Arrow and a lot less going on in.
It kind of like they're just like in cruise control until like the final like 2 episodes.
Yeah. I suppose let's rate and review.
Okay.
I think it's your turn to go first.
Sure. So this episode I gave it a 3. I mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It was neutral. Like we've talked about, nothing really happened. I just felt like this episode was just another cruise control episode.
3 what?
3 cheesing Cisco's.
I will agree with you. This is a 3 secrets. 3 out of 5 secrets. It wasn't as bad as last week's episode, but it's still in that same range where it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. It's just, I think like the way how you described it was the best way to describe it. It's on cruise control.
Yeah. Like nothing real. I mean, also I loved how they kind of advanced the Arrow plot in the Flash episode. Like with Lance and his Laurel, and Lance forgiving Laurel for what happened. I love how they advanced the Arrow plot in a Flash episode.
I didn't even think of that, man. Nice. Oh man. But oh well, that's what happens. Yeah. Iris obviously doesn't have good vision. She can't see
unless they saw
than 20 feet ahead of her, and
unless they saw her on the cameras and they like close that area off, or Flash had his suit, but still like there's a dummy just sitting in front of it with no clothes on. You would start questioning why there's this random dummy model, just mannequins.
Oh man. All right, let's wrap things up and then go into the spoiler section.
Sure thing.
All right, so if well, first I want to quickly give a plug. We did, or Me and Kevin's on the Out of Continuous podcast a lot. The two of us did a season 1 review of Daredevil, so check that out. It's you can find it www.outofcontinuous.com, or it's on the web on the YouTube as well, which is youtube.com/outofcontinues. It's a 2-hour long podcast, but I mean, we did like the entire season 1 of Daredevil. It was kind of a new thing for me to do because I mean, like, Eric and I, we do Flash on a week by week basis because each episode is released on a single week. While Daredevil, it's like, boom, here it is, all of it at once. So it kind of made it a little difficult to keep that same format. So I decided to just watch it all and then do one big review over the entire thing. And so if you watch Daredevil, check that out.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you enjoy what you've been hearing, you can support us by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review. You can contact us by email. That's capes@outofcontinues.com. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/outofcontinues. All of these can be found on the website, www.outofcontinues.com/TV podcasts. You can give me a tweet. I am at Sayed Stafa. That's at SAYEDSTAFA.
And I'm at Emetzger712, EMETZGER712.
Feel free to tweet us any secrets that you have.
Secrets.
Hashtag Joe Joe West. We should start that. We need to make that thing.
We should. Secret man.
Just be like, I have a secret. It is da 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 da, and then hashtag Joe West.
Yeah. Detective Joe West.
Yep.
Keeper of secrets.
Hashtag Joe West secrets. That's what we gotta do.
Okay.
We gotta make that a thing.
We'll get on it.
So with that said, I am Stafa.
And I'm Eric.
And we'll either see you in the spoiler section in a moment, or we will see you next week. While we review episode 20 of The Flash. All right, spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Vroom, vroom. Get those spoilers up.
Fast and Furious 7.
Yep. Gotta have spoilers on your car.
Exactly.
All right, so we gave the spoiler alert. Let's get into the spoilers. I watched the preview for next week. Did you?
Yes.
Literally, the preview had like nothing.
I mean, all it is they set a trap for Wells. Cisco uses himself as prey, which puts him in grave danger. And Eddie makes a decision regarding Iris, which leaves Joe a bit unsettled. That's the synopsis of the episode.
Like the only thing that happens in the preview is like a bunch of yelling, and there's a bullet, and Barry's trying to catch the bullet, and Cisco's screaming.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that they basically confront Harrison Wells and get down to it.
Because episode 21 is the Grodd episode.
How many episodes are there total?
23.
23. Okay.
And, the final 2 is going to be the Firestorm Arrow crossover.
Crossovers. No.
I think really we should just stop calling it crossover because they happen way too much.
They're also the worst episodes too.
Yeah.
You need to chill on the crossovers. Do you have any other spoilers?
It's believed, but hasn't been confirmed yet. This new spin-off show is going to be called Legends of Tomorrow.
I'm a legend of yesterday.
Which would go into one of the more popular theories that Rip Hunter's going to try to find the other part of Firestorm, which is why Robbie Amell has been signed on to the new spinoff, yet the other half of Firestorm has been.
Okay.
And that's how they can have Sarah be in there because he'll just go back in time to a point where Sarah's alive and get her to come in and take her to help them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do we have any theories on what's going to happen next on the show?
I think Eddie's gonna break up with Iris. And we're gonna get our Iris Berry love story started again.
I think no matter what happens, there's going to be plenty more secrets for Joe
Yep.
to keep from everyone else. All right. So I suppose that's it.
I guess so.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
See ya.